take any of it back, but I'm glad you're here. But okay, so give me your reaction because, like, I get that the game wasn't exactly, the injury.
Catch up,
The injury
Chandler. I'm gonna sit
sucks.
back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
injury
yeah. I
sucks.
mean,
But what'd you
listen,
think?
I was trying to stream it all flight long
We
from
got you.
LA to here, and just seeing Halliburton get off to such a hot start and everything he's done this postseason, man, that was terrible to see. Just a dude that he's been fighting through the calf injury, he's been playing through injury. Clearly, he's not himself. And now to do this and put himself in a situation to miss next year was just really disheartening. So just to see that was no fun. But at the end of the day, I think the best team all season long won. The most consistent team won the championship, and it's exciting just because of how young they are and how star-studded this team is, and the fact that they're winning at such a young age. I think it's the second youngest franchise team to ever win or something, and the fourth team to ever win 84 games. And
Yep.
they're just starting and creating all this history. And kind of finally getting over that hump to get their first championship was really special to see. And you got to give credit to the Pacers too. It's a team that everyone kind of overlooked. Everyone kind of wrote off during the playoffs, including us. Right? We had the Bucks beating them. We had Knicks. We had everybody beating them, and they kind of continued to prove us wrong. So I thought it was a hell of a finals. I thought the better team did win, but I do feel for Tyrese Haliburton, the fact that he's got to spend all summer now rehabbing all next year, because this team was going to be a real threat again next year. Just how hard they play, how unselfish they play, and how well coached they are. They're not going to go anywhere. And even without Tyrese, they still got the Nimhards, they still got TJ McConnell's, and knowing that system and that offense, they'll find someone to plug and play. But I just really feel bad for Tyrese right now.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. Look, we know he was playing on a bad calf, right? And game 6, so much so that it was sort of like a game time situation. And then we saw and we're like, okay, he's fine. But he's never really 100% fine because it's looming. And looming is the best word I can think of, Chandler, when I think of what a calf situation does for a guy, because we have now seen it time and time again. We know it's looming, and the inevitable is the worst case scenario, which is exactly what went down last night. Now, here's my question. Because I don't think there's a world in which he's not suiting up and trying, right? But then you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, because now you're probably going to miss all of next season. But you can't change what you did yesterday, right? If you're Tyrese Haliburton.
Yeah, I mean, this was the worst possible scenario for him and his career and his family, and it was for the franchise of the Indiana Pacers. Like, again, they have everyone besides Miles Turner basically under contract to kind of run this back and continue to grow and get better in the Eastern Conference. That's wide open next year with the Tatum injury, with the unknown of Giannis, with all these moves are going to be made this offseason. The Pacers were a team that were in position to kind of be one of those top dogs going in next year, and so. Yeah, I respect Tyrese Haliburton, man, so much for going out and trying to play him. Anybody in a situation, me, Lou, in their situation, it's the finals, man. We have to play. And I'm sure medical was saying, listen, these are the severe consequences that could happen in worst case scenario. But, hopefully that doesn't. And hopefully we can just give us something, give us a burst. And again, just the fact that he got off so hot, hit 3 threes in a row, and was playing so good. And the fact that the Pacers even kept it somewhat competitive throughout this whole game. Just kind of shows their character and what they're about and kind of that culture and identity that, they've created. But this is very eye-opening for other stars around the league. We always talk about all season long, right? The hamstring, the calf, that stuff that lingers, and that stuff that needs real time and rehab to heal. And Shams reported a couple of weeks ago, this was an injury that was going to take weeks to recover from. Yeah. Obviously, it's the NBA Finals. He wasn't going to allow that. I don't think anybody in his position would be able to sit down to that. It's the best. That's the biggest basketball of his game was last night of his life. So I respect him, but obviously this is the worst case scenario, and I feel for him.
I wonder. Look, again, I don't think anyone is keeping Tyrese Haliburton or a guy like Tyrese off the floor for a Game 7 in the NBA freaking Finals, but. You cannot help but to start having this conversation once again with medical staff, because I'm sure they gave him a long list of what could happen, right? And we all know what could happen, Lou, but like, is there a world in which medical staffs are going to start perhaps maybe getting bigger blames, and so they're going to force guys to sit out in these types of situations? Because today there are people questioning the medical staff, which I find absurd.
Which is crazy. And before you even answer, if Tyrese Haliburton didn't play, they'd be
Oh, thank you.
questioning his toughness and his
We'd
character.
crush
So
him.
like
Right.
we'd crush him if he actually set
Yeah.
out game seven. So you guys got to go both ways.
Yeah, what Chandler just said is it's no way to get out of this without somebody bearing some type of blame, especially when you see a guy hurt and he's trying to fight through it. You call him resilient, you
iPad.
call him tough, you call him everything, and then once he gets hurt, you're looking for something to blame. They knew that there was risk involved. You hate to see this happen, man. He was like
Ugh.
it's a roller coaster of a season for Tyrese Haliburton. It was up and down, peaks and valleys, so much adversity that he fought through, so much criticism that he fought through. So to see it end like that, it's just it's a tough pill to swallow. And as fans, we're always looking for something to blame. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't. I appreciated the fact that he went out there and gave his team a realistic opportunity to win a championship. Unfortunately, it's going to cost him a season, but you got to tilt
Yeah.
your hat to an effort like that. I'm wishing him a speedy recovery. I know he'll be back and he'll be great and be the player that we've grown accustomed to seeing him be. But again, that was the worst case scenario, and it happened, and you hate to see it, but you got to give him credit for giving himself a shot.
Yeah, and if you're a Pacers fan or if you're in that locker room, if you're on that staff in
Oh,
that building, you have to have the utmost respect for this dude. I mean, he's a warrior. He literally just risked all next season, this season, potentially his career. I mean, with medical and everything, Achilles, people can come back from it, but man, this just showed a lot of heart from a dude that clearly wasn't himself, the kind of guy the season he's come. Think about where he's come from to the most overrated player voted by his peers to the probably the most clutch playoff performances we've ever seen in the history of
mhm.
the NBA. So now to end like this of an extreme underdog team taking the big bad Thunder to Game Seven, this was a spectacular season for the Pacers, spectacular season for Tyrese Haliburton, and again, it's I thought I'd be happy for the Thunder from kind of getting over that hump, starting the beginning of this dynasty, and instead today I more feel bad for Tyrese Haliburton and what he's going to have
Yes.
to go through the next 10 months. So it's a tough way for the season to end, but it was a lot of good basketball and a lot of good back and forth. And I think everyone can agree this series was a lot more competitive than everyone thought it was going to be.
I think that's exactly how I feel, Chandler. Like I'm happy for OKC, man. It's there's nothing like your team winning a championship and as fans and all that. I've become such a Tyrese Halliburton fan through the process of this entire postseason. There's like it's very bittersweet today. It feels very, very bittersweet, and then does not help the images of him on crutches, waiting for everybody as they're coming down the line. I mean, everyone's in tears, and TJ McConnell and his mom, and I'm just like, agony of defeat. It's a real thing. What's also crazy though is if you look at the East, because we've talked about it, it's wide open, and we kept referencing it in how it relates to Jason Tatum, Lillard, Tatum, Halliburton. Three big East teams. Like, what in the
Yeah.
world are we even looking at next season, Chandler?
I mean, it's crazy. You got to look to the Cleveland Cavaliers first. Obviously, the regular season they had, returning everybody, coach of the year. There's something to say about that chemistry and just that continuity of not having too much turnover going into next season. The Cavs have got to be my favorite to come out of the East. The Knicks aren't going anywhere. You're going to hear there's some rumors with trade talk with possibly Giannis and other big names there to try and better that roster. But as is, they're pretty good. The Orlando Magic make a splash with Desmond Bain, and he's exactly what they need on paper with shooting and defense. And again, like I said, the Pacers, they're going to be right there. The way they play, the way they scrap, how deep they are. They're such a collective team, next man up mentality type of franchise where they are going to win games. They are not just going to roll down. So I think the East is still going to be wide open. I think the Cavs are obviously the early favorite going into it, but you got to look out for the Sixers. What are the Heat going to
Stop.
do?
Just
Can
stop.
the Hawks kind of get over that hump? There's a
Are you
bunch of teams that
contractually
can be
obligated
competitive.
to mention Philly every time we have this
Uh,
Is
I
someone
do think
paying
they're going
you?
to be better. I think
Oh,
they're going to be better. I do. I believe in Joel Embiid. I believe in Paul
He's sticking
George.
to
I
his
believe in
guns.
he is. I'll give him
Jared
that. He is
McCain.
sticking. Love
The
Jared
third
McCain.
pick, who knows, they're going to take. Listen, they got some things to look forward to over there, but the Cavs got to be the favorite, right? Going on to next year.
I know, but here's the problem with that. That's all fun and good. We can say that right here, sitting in the month of July. We can even say it all the way up until the month of May, but it won't
Right.
matter because of what we saw them do this season. So go ahead,
It's
get
true.
yourself one of those great records, and we're all still going to sit there and be like, mm-hmm. We'll find out together, I guess. Guys, I'm so proud of us for making sure that the entire first segment was the game. Now we will get to the Kevin Durant headed to Houston trade next.
Run it up, run it back, run it up, run it back, run it